This is why I did it early.
Mm-hmm.
Because things always seem to go wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I do that too early because things don't. I've just been so busy. I'm in the middle of finishing my PhD, and I'm doing all this writing. Oh my! I've had to change all my
Oh,
counseling sessions at night.
short for
So, mhm.
God, am I broadcasting already?
All right.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the Jawshow, Season 3. A common satire podcast designed to save the world or possibly end it. Brought to you part 5, Blue Production. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Check out my page for more info. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join me every Friday at 3 p.m. here, live on the Jawshow. You can find us everywhere. Join my evil empire today. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Jawshow. I would like to welcome my guest, Terence, onto the show today.
Hello, everybody.
Terence.
Hey, or hello. How you doing? Thanks so much for having me, Joshua. Appreciate
I'm really
it.
happy to have you, too. So, right off the bat, I just want to welcome you onto the show. This is Restoration Therapist, Mind, Body, and Soul. I want to remind my viewers that I do promote small businesses in the USA and across the United States of America, and I am available. It's an NC-17 show because it's a unfiltered interviews, just to let everyone know out there. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe my page down there below every Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now that we got the paperwork out of the way, I guess my first question for you is, what made you think about going into the healing arts of what you're doing, the restoration therapist?
Well, there's a long history and background. I'll make it very short for you. I first started off as a pastor. I realized that people were hurt. I've always had a desire to help hurting people. It's kind of like in my genes. It's part of my makeup from my family. My mom's a nurse, and a good part of my family is in the healing business. And I saw things deeply about people and how deeply people were hurt and scarred, especially when I went to go work at a church. It was amazing to me that people that were always saying hallelujah, praise the Lord, and had this outward, this surfacey outward mannerism that everything was okay. But then I would find out that these people were living with atrocities. They were living with all kinds of issues, but yet they were coming to church every Sunday and smiling and being happy. And that kind of woke me up to a dynamic of human beings that I just felt like I had to do something about. And I realized that my seminary training did not provide me the tools to deal with something that was so deep. So I went back to school and became a psychotherapist.
And I know that because I'm a priest myself, I'm a registered minister myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and I went and did a basic year-long classes, but for my specific faith that I believe in, that doesn't matter so much. So as long as I did it to help people in the LGBTQ community, to try to help marry them when they were able to get married when that first happened. So I wanted to try to help anybody who are my friends who wanted to get married. But that's interesting to know, though, coming from a place of faith and that feeling like that's a calling for you, and then turning that into what you've turned it into now. So what can they expect when they come to you for services? What are
Well, my practice is based on self-empowerment. And what I mean is that people are the healthiest when they recognize that they are the most important person that they will ever meet. When a person is able to gain self-insight and self-awareness that they're the ones that are truly in control of their lives, they will grow, they will develop, they will begin to gain self-insight and self-awareness. They will gain empowerment and vision for their lives. They will begin to start doing things that they never thought that they could do if this happens. But if a person sees other people as in control of their lives, if they see circumstances in control of their lives, if they see the criminal justice system, their mother and fathers, their jobs, if they see anything other than themselves as truly in control of their lives, they will have tremendous problems being successful. Tremendous problems until they realize that. Because you get into a blame thing and you become adopt the mental ideology of a victim, and you can become a chronic victim. And whatever happens to you, you never see your ability to come out of it. You never see your ability to contribute to success. You only see what things are done to you. You never ever see what you can do. You only see things that are done to you. And that's a pretty helpless and powerless place to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. First you have to believe in yourself. Until
Mhm.
you can completely believe in yourself and heal yourself, you have no right to go out there trying to heal anybody else. I know
Mhm.
there's a bunch of people who feel like they should go help people who are in the same situation you and I are
Mhm.
in. But
Mhm.
when I'm in therapy to get my counseling taken care of, to make sure my head, mind, body, and soul are being taken care
Mhm.
of.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to hear that that's something that you put out to the universe too. So what you mentioned a little bit of what can they expect when they come in for the first time, Terrence? What can they
Mhm.
expect?
Well, what I do is it's based on developing a therapeutic relationship with the person, and I use certain techniques. I adhere to uh, Carl Rogers' person-centered counseling techniques, where I want to get to know this person. I want to develop unconditional positive regard, meaning that this person can come in my office and they can feel free to be whoever they are. They can feel free. They don't have to hide anything from me. They don't have to become anything from me. All they can come. My office is a place where they can truly be who they really are, and that's a real different thing for people, because for some people they actually have no place where they can truly be themselves. They don't have families that they can truly be themselves. They don't have jobs. They are in situations where they're in marriages where they can't truly be themselves. These people have no place where they can be themselves and be accepted, and you can't grow until you can completely accept who you really are. You can't grow. No matter what situation you are in life, you have to be able to see yourself the way you really are, the way you really are right now, to get any place else. You have to. Because if you don't, who's changing? You don't know who's changing. You don't know where you're going if you can't see yourself from where you are. If you don't know where you're starting from, how do you know where you finish? How do you know where to go? So self-acceptance about whether it's good or bad. I don't care what you've done. I don't care if you're a criminal. I don't care if you're a murderer. Whatever you are, you got to start off who you are and then move from there. So I work with clients from all backgrounds. I've worked with a lot of murderers. I've worked with people with severe pedophiles. I work with domestic violence perpetrators and victims, with both. So, and the one thing they have to do is they have to be able to come in my office and get to the point where they can be and admit who they really are, so that we can move on to a healing process. So I try to make it a very safe and comfortable place for them to be able to be real with who they really are.
That's awesome to hear that you allow your patients to come and do that, no matter their background, no matter
Mhm.
what they
Mhm.
had happened in
Mhm.
the past. And those
Mhm.
are some really touchy subjects for a lot of
Mhm.
people out
Mhm. Mhm.
there, because I know there are people who have problems with murders, child, anything to do with a child,
Mhm.
like that. Those people don't always get that second chance because it's such a horrific crime. They don't get that
Mhm.
chance. I believe everyone deserves one second chance when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And if
Mhm.
you rehabilitate and live a life more productive after that,
Mhm.
done something
Mhm.
wrong, first of all, don't
Mhm.
do it. Second of
Mhm.
all, if you did do it, admit it,
Mhm.
pay whatever price you have to pay for the crime you committed. But after that, get the help you need to not be able to do that again. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Over 80% of the people that do these horrific things were victims. So they're not doing this just because they're horrible people that got up one day and decided, hey, I think I'm going to go rape a child. No, these people are victims of systematic abuse. I work with people with sexual abuse. Do you know that the majority of my clients tell me that the mother's boyfriend or the father was raping them and the mother knew they were raping them and would not do anything to stop them or help them? And then when the child did say something about it, the entire family turned against the child and basically demonized the child. So this goes on in over 70% of the cases where a child is being molested. The mother knows and does nothing about it. I even had a situation where the mother was actually conveniently leaving so that the paramour could have time to rape the child. She was yeah, this kind of stuff goes on, and
I know it's sad
yeah.
that it does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I understand that, yeah, they may be perpetrators, but this started off with them being victims and nobody helped them. Nobody was there for them. They told people this was going on and no one did anything to rescue them. So they became angry and now they're perpetrators.
Right. I had a situation when I was younger. I was abused by a babysitter sexually,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the tell someone bad touch, good touch. If you remember that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I told,
Yeah, I teach that. Mm-hmm.
and then when I told my teacher, she did the right thing. She got the police involved. She contacted my mother, who had no idea this was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what was going on until I saw that,
Mm-hmm.
what was happening. And I was like, I stayed after class and told my story.
Mm-hmm.
Said, that's being done to me. This is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Does that count? And she was, gave me the what you would hope with the standard. Oh my God, I can't believe that's happening to you. Look, and it's nice to hear that now. And like you said, now I didn't turn into the person who would go out and do the bad things because I got that help. I did everything within my power not to become that person because that was the last thing I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, my brother, on the other hand, took a different path,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But he's already paid his price. He's been through therapy. Now he's in a committed relationship and he's doing everything right, finally.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take away what he did, but, at least he's made a concerted effort to show he's had some remorse for what he's done and now going on to do different things. So,
Well, unfortunately, people view this topic that everyone is the same. That's not true.
right.
There's different levels of perpetrators. Some are extremely low risk. Some are extremely high risk. I've worked with, I mean, some are like actively on the street every day looking for someone to abuse. Others really don't like this, but they've never really dealt with their own uh, trauma and they have these feelings. They don't like having these feelings, but they have them. I actually believe, and I have no 100% proof of this, but it is one of my theories that Sigmund Freud was a victim of child sexual abuse. In fact, it came out that his father had sexually abused his sister. And I think he was abusing all of them. And I think that's one of the reasons that took Sigmund Freud in this direction of psychology. I think he was actually trying to heal himself. Now, we did learn that his son was a prolific sex offender and child abuser. His son, Sigmund Freud's son, he's dead now, but he was a prolific child abuser. And they think that it's possible that he may have been a perpetrator in a very high profile child snatching problem that happened in Europe. So I think that this stuff has been happening for a long time. And I'll tell you, I work with the LGBT community a lot. I about 10 to 15% of my clients are from the LGBT community. Listen, I believe that people have the right to do whatever they want. I don't get into the moral issues of it. People can do whatever they want. I try to heal and help people. Here's the deal. For whatever reason, in the LBGT community, they have a suicide rate and mental illness rate and a drug rate that's higher than any other population. Now, we can debate this all we want, but somehow these people need to be helped because something is causing this. Now, this is in my private practice. I've been doing this for about 30 years. I have never had any client ever from the LBGT community who has not experienced sexual trauma. Not one in 30 years. Not one. In fact, I have a new client now that I'm going to be working with. And what I do is I want to give a client all the information and empower them with all the information. That means they need to hear both sides of the coin because both sides of the coin are valid. You've got a high number of people whose voices are being squelched right now saying that they were pushed into this, they did this, and now they regret it. And some of these people are living in a constant state of suicide because they've made biological changes that they cannot turn around and change. They were having issues. They were having mental health issues. Someone convinced them that if they did this surgery, that somehow their mental health issues would be dealt with. After they've done these surgeries, they then found out that that wasn't true. They didn't fit that category. They did these things for nothing. And there's a big voice of them now. There's a huge organization of them now that are speaking out. I think people that are about to do this, if you're going to do a life-changing surgery that you can't change back from, I think you need to do all the investigation and getting all the information that you can. Now, the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations was one of the biggest agencies doing transgender reassignment surgery in London, England. And they forced them to close down because the doctors were seeing some very adverse effects with this. They saw the high levels of suicide afterwards. And they also felt that some of the clients were being manipulated. Some of these clients were kids, man, and they were being manipulated. They weren't really like giving them all the information and all the pros and cons so that they could make the best decision for themselves. And I think that's a crime to do that. So I try to empower my clients with both sides of the information, not one, both sides. I want them to hear it so that they can make an educated, informed decision in their lives.
Right. So, Terence, I know the real reason you're here today. You're here to stop my evil plan. So, I got a question for you.
Sure.
If you could change the world with one thought, snap your fingers and change the world for better, and you have to use it for everyone, just not including your Pacific, whatever. How would you save the world? What would your one thought be? Snapping the fingers.
That's an amazing question. I've heard people answer this question before, and people always come up with ideas that are just not realistic. They're just not realistic. Many of us are very limited in their capacity. I'll probably only be able to help a very small portion of the population throughout my career. So, a person as limited as I am, what can I really do? I'll tell you this, and this goes with the theory of self empowerment. Do you know that if every single person would just take care of themselves, would take care of their mental health, would take care of their emotional health, would take care of their physical health, would take care of their spiritual health, and would take care of their social health, do you know that that would immensely improve the quality of life for every single human being on the planet if we would just take care of ourselves?
All right.
And a lot of the problems that we're facing, the medical problem with people that we have high medical costs, people don't take care of themselves. People not taking care of themselves, and we're paying the price for people not eating right, not taking care of themselves, not exercising. We're paying the price for it. Drunk drivers. People are not taking care of themselves. Do you know that all mental health illnesses are developed due to ongoing lack of self-care? So if you don't take care of yourself, self-care mentally, emotionally, you will begin to develop mental health problems. You'll develop addiction problems. All addiction problems are the result of people not taking care of their well-being, their mental and emotional health. What happens is If you don't take care of your mental and emotional health, you begin to start being plagued by uncomfortable feelings. You start to become tortured by feelings of not feeling right, not feeling good, not feeling comfortable, not feeling good in your own shoes, not feeling complete. And when people live under such devastating feelings and emotions for long periods of time, they begin to look for some type of relief. And usually it's instantaneous release: food, drugs, sex, work. Their lives become unbalanced. And then that spills off into the society. That spills off. Imagine right now if everyone got a therapist and began to deal with their issues. Can you imagine what would happen right now if everybody in the world got a therapist and started yelling at everybody and mistreating people and yelling at people and horribly treating people? They said, you know what? I need to go get some help. I'm going to go get a counselor and get help for this. Do you know how that would exponentially help the quality of life for everybody in the world if everybody went and took care of their mental health and got there? So that's one of the big things that changed the world. And now everybody can do that. This is doable. I can't make you do anything. You can't make me do anything. I can't make anybody else do anything as a therapist, but I can take care of myself. That's doable for me. I go to a therapy once a month. I pay a therapist. His name is Dr. Angelata. He's good. And I see him once a month and go to him and talk out my issues so that I take care of my own mental health, because I don't want to be trying to help other people and then fall to pieces myself. And I'll tell your people that are listening, your listeners, you don't want a therapist that doesn't go to therapy. You do not want a therapist who doesn't go to therapy. Listening to the stuff that we listen to all day long will make anybody crazy. You better be getting some self-help. And if you're not, I've seen counselors and therapists go crazy. I've seen counselors and therapists start using drugs. I've seen them start to screw their own patients, have sex in the office with their own patients, destroy people's marriages. I've seen this stuff because they weren't taking care of themselves. Yeah. So I think that's the number one thing to change the world. If everybody would just take care of themselves, we could change the world.
Right. I agree with that completely. I've always believed that you can have to take care of three aspects of your life, and you added a couple extra ones in there, but the physical, mental, and spiritual are the key ones, and then the social and the the other one is
spiritual. You know what the spiritual is? The spiritual is the existential question. It's not religion. It's the existential question of finding out who we are.
Right.
Who we truly are. What's our purpose in life? Why are we here? You got people walking around not even knowing who they are. They have no direction, have no guidance. They don't know who they are, and they're not taking any time to find out. And they're causing us a lot of problems. You know what I mean? People that live like that cause us a lot of problems.
Yeah, like I said, it's important for my viewers to know and everyone to kind of see that this is how we actively change the world every day. Is if everyone just went, like you said, just went and got therapy, even if it was for a couple of weeks, just to get stuff out of your system and release and let go, and maybe even get some good advice and stuff. You know,
I had a client, Joshua. She was a young teenage girl. She came to me for counseling. She told me that she has been asking her mother for counseling for years, that she was suicidal. And the mother would not get her daughter counseling for years. And I met with the mother and I asked her, I said, when this girl told you that she was having suicidal ideations, can you help me understand why you wouldn't immediately get on the phone and get her a therapist? You know what that mother told me? Well, I thought she'd get over it. I thought she'd get over it. Can you imagine that? So not only will this mother get help for herself, and I guarantee you this mother needed mental health counseling. I guarantee you, probably more than the daughter did. But she wouldn't get help for herself and then wouldn't get help for her daughter. We have friends that are medical doctors. My wife's a doctor, and I'm soon to be a doctor. And we have friends that are doctors, and these people let their son have a drug problem. He had a heroin problem. They let this kid go on. They didn't get him no help, let him in the house, and then found him dead and OD'd in their house. Medical doctors now did this. Yeah. So you got people that don't take care of themselves, And the guy to this day won't go get counseling. He's been grieving, he's been hurting, and none of them will go get counseling. So they wouldn't get help for their kid, but it comes from the fact that they won't get help for themselves.
Yeah, and it's important for people to know that we do things every day that can make an impact on not only our own lives but other lives. Taking care of yourself and being able to be part of that is something that is essential. We have to do that. If you don't take care of yourself, there's no, and you don't have yourself figured out as much as possible. I mean, we're always a work in progress. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new challenge. There's going to something that's going to happen today that might not necessarily be the best thing ever. But if you can get through the day, wake up tomorrow morning, and maybe tomorrow's the better day,
And I agree with what you're saying. I had a client, he was 17, he was getting ready to go to college. His father is an alcoholic, and the mother lives with him and lives with all of his shenanigans, so she's in trouble, and he decided he was going to go and get help. So he went himself as a 17-year-old and got counseling. When his parents saw him getting help, do you know they went and got counselors? When they just saw him going to get help, seeing this young man making this wise decision to get himself help, they went to get help too. So yeah, you're right. Just getting help yourself gives other people an example. It's a powerful example. You don't even have to do anything else, but just go get help yourself, and that will touch other people.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I really want to say thank you for being here today, Terrence. It's been an awesome interview.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with people. I appreciate that.
So if they have any questions or want to get a hold of you, I have put your information down below. Here's the website where you can go to, where you can find out some information of him. And
I have individual counseling. I have group therapy for the LGBT community. I have group therapy for anxiety and depression. I have relationship groups for marriages to heal their marriages and their relationships.
So is there anything you're currently promoting right now that you want my viewers to know about?
Right now, at the library, at the J.A.W library on May the 3rd at 7 p.m., I'm going to be doing an educational program. You can contact the J.A.W County libraries. I go to each library and do a public educational seminar on mental illness and drug use, and also give a lot of resources out. Also, I have a dynamic relationship group that I'm promoting. If you're having marital problems, if you're in a relationship that's having problems, this is a awesome group. There's all couples there that are trying to heal their relationships. It's very cost effective. You can go to my website and sign up for it. You can do it online or you can do it in person.
Right. So that's awesome to hear. And what city and state are you in again?
I am licensed in the state of Ohio. Thank you for mentioning it. That's important. And I'm also licensed in the state of Kentucky. So I can provide services for people, whether in Ohio or Kentucky. If you're in Kentucky, I can do telehealth. If you're in Ohio, I can do telehealth and in person.
Right, because like you said, you were mentioning a venue, and I wanted people to be able to go.
Thank you for doing that. I forgot about that.
So that I just wanted to make sure. Well, I want to say thank you once again for being here.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate it. And we will talk to you later. So give us a second here and hang on a bit. Watching the Jawshow. I really appreciate you coming to watch my show today. Don't forget, if you have an interesting business, craft, and/or talent, or do anything interesting, or even an interesting person who would like to be on my show, all you have to do is contact me via my Facebook Messenger or my email at jawshow@bluesphereproductionsllc.com. I am available on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, you'll never stop my evil plan. Bye. See you later.